Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
It is the God-given right of the American people to dominate the Western Hemisphere. It is our moral duty to protect our neighbors from oppression and exploitation. It is the fate of America to go ahead. That is her manifest destiny.
Del mar los vieron llegar, mis hermanos emplumados serán los hombres barbados de la profecía esperada. Se oyó la voz del monarca de que el Dios había llegado y les abrimos la puerta. Por temor a lo ignorado, iban montados en bestias, como demonios del mal, iban con fuego en las manos y cubiertos de metal. Solo el valor de unos cuantos les opuso resistencia, y al mirar correr la sangre se llenaron de vergüenza, porque los dioses ni comen ni gozan con lo robado. Y cuando nos dimos cuenta, ya todo estaba acabado, y en ese error entregamos la grandeza del pasado, y en ese error nos quedamos 300 años esclavos. Se nos quedó el maleficio de brindar al extranjero nuestra fe, nuestra cultura, nuestro pan, nuestro dinero, y le seguimos cambiando oro por cuentas de vidrio, y damos nuestras riquezas por sus espejos con brillo. Siglo XX nos siguen llegando rubios y les abrimos la casa, y lo los llamamos amigos. Pero si llega cansado un indio de andar la sierra, lo humillamos y lo vemos como extraño por su tierra. Tú, hipócrita que te muestras humilde ante el extranjero, pero te vuelves soberbio con tus hermanos del pueblo. Oh, maldición de Malinche, enfermedad del presente, ¿cuándo dejarás mi tierra? ¿Cuándo harás libre a mi gente?
Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido, siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra, no me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote, un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote, me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote, pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote, me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia, que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia, yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia, pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias, si no topa el poli en breve nos para en la calle, no puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle, no quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle, quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre, a la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo, pero tumbar gente, quien les dijo que es trabajo, puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo, loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque
se armó la alianza más pesada del país, todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs, pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís, mis paisas en el gabacho bien truchas con la polis, loco en Guanajuato con los ojos bien tumbados, de cote con el quesada, rifando por todos lados, atento si prendo un blunt, en cabina cuando grabo, represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo, cuando voy pa' Jalisco el pasado está olvidado, con el perro de la C bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado, chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado, bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado, puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca, pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca, ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca, si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca.
verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en siempre la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life todo el día, viendo live. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palanca. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. MC da bolos desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte en donde ando. El sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México cabrón.
Es el perrito de la selva. La bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno los puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar en la prisión. ¡Viva México, ladrones! ¿Qué hubo, les presidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Aguas, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Wow, 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 yipi yo, yipi yucas. Buenas, Montegreen, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas. San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no, loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Puro hip hop mexa, perros, 2023.
Ey yo, ey yo.
Somos la santa carnal.
Ey, ey, dale,
Los machilones de la plaza.
Oye, DJ Dundek en los scratches. Desde alzada, mi perro. No saben quién soy o sí. Oye.
Viva México, cabrones.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Yeah. Step 1, 2, 3. That's right. Took a brother's advice today, man. We're in the same frequency, bro. Brother Joe, we had a chance to talk. So we were in the same frequency. I'm going to show you some stuff here real quick. For you guys that are here, you couple brothers, man, all praises to the Most High. What's up, Joe? What up, Brown Ray? Kill it. Prophecy has become reality. That's just a fact. So let me start out with some things real quick, and then I'm going to show you guys a few things. History lost, okay? The reason I emphasize Meshiacha is because that is an important name to have. I don't give a rat's ass what anybody tells you, family. They're all full of schmuck. Because the reality is that this name is important for a reason. There's a reason why he gave us that name. It even says it in the himno. Con el mismo dedo, Dios escribió nuestra historia. Now, real quick, check this out. In Psalms 2 and 2, in Spanish, right? If we go to Reina Valera, so Psalms 2 and 2 says, se levantan los reyes de la tierra y los gobernantes traman unido contra el Señor y contra su ungido. Ungido, okay? Now, here's the interesting. It gets really good. You know what I'm saying? Really good. So check it out. Reina Valera. So now, if you guys go to this BibleParalela.com and Psalms, then you're at Psalms 2 and 2, okay? So now from here, then you go into Lexico. So click on Lexico. Now, here's where it gets interesting. It's just like going to the concordance from Blue Letter Bible. This is in Spanish. Basically, it's the Blue Letter Bible in Spanish. Now, here's where it gets interesting, family. It says here, this is Psalms 2. Let's go to Psalms 2 and 2. So we're looking at the same verse. Estarán los reyes de la tierra y príncipes consultarán unidos contra the, you know what I'm saying, the Most High, y contra su ungido. Ungido, that's the interesting word. Ungido. Ungido is what? Ungido, Mesías. Ungido, una persona consagrada, el Mesías. Okay? Now, hold on a second.
Wait a minute.
Who are you, Raza? Straight up. Where do you come from, Meshiacha? Look at this real quick. Just going to show you here on the side. You see this shit? Meshiacha. Meshiacha. Okay? Now, so it basically means what? Anointed. Anointed. Okay? This is why your name is so powerful, and this is why people want to take this shit from you. And this is why they have no respect for you. Because spiritually speaking, they know exactly who we are, and they fear that we are waking up. And those are facts. I don't give a hell what people say. So before you let any stupid ass camp tell you like, oh, Mexicans are Issachar, stupid ass burros. Don't be stupid like that, please. Here's what the forms of translation or transliteration means, right? You see the name, we'll start here. Hamashiach, Hamasiah, right? Let's skip here real quick. And then it says Messiah, Mashiach, Mashiach, Masai, Messiah. Then it's Messiah, Mesiheka, Mesihi, Mesihau, Meshiach, or like my name, the channel, Meshiacha, right? But then Meshiacha, Meshichi, and then it says Meshiko. Meshiko. I need you to really think about what we're reading here. I know there's only 3 of you, and it's all good. Out of 720 something people, only a few people show up. And you know what's funny? The last couple of days, I guess I lost subscribers, and I know who you guys are. You got butthurt and shit. RSK, I'm glad you subscribed. You're in the wrong channel, bro. Because you guys have no respect of your own name. You want to come back over here, come over here to this channel and combat me about some BS bullshit. See, we just had somebody leave. These are facts, family. When it comes to our facts, they don't want you to know, and they don't care because it hurts them. It hurts every single belief and doctrine that they came to actually think that was real. Your name is important. Mexico, Messiah, Meshiach. Meshicha. There's a reason why you are named that way. Now, I'm gonna show you something interesting, okay? And again, I don't know, bro. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just, it's like all of us. We all sit down and study the book, right? And then things just occur. So I was reading this verse right here. Okay? And it says, Matthew 10:16, behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of the wolves. In the midst of wolves, I'm sorry. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Let's read it this way. Listen, I am sending you out to just like sheep to a pack of wolves. You must be as cautious as snakes and as gentle as doves. Okay? So once again, I'm telling you, family, nobody, when it comes to facts strictly about you, everybody hates. Everybody all of a sudden wants to be John 3:16. You got RSK wanting to be John 3:16 with his BHI camp. You got the other guy, Meshiacha, trying to be John 3:16 with the whole world. I don't know, bro. I don't know you guys. I don't understand what your mindset is. You say you're not Christians, but you think like Christians. So here's why I'm trying to show this to you. And this is just me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this. I don't know. But I started reading it, right? And I started really meditating on this verse. And then it hit me. Because we're talking about the name, right? Mexico, Meshicha, Meshiacha, or anointed. Okay, so now, remember, be as wise as serpents and gentle as doves. I honestly thought about this for a moment. Do you guys maybe assume that that's why they call his name? Well, let me first read it. Quetzalcoatl, right? The T and the L at the end. But here's the interesting part. They call him, or plumbed serpent, was one of the most important gods in ancient Mesoamerica, right? He was a god of wind, whatever this is. But this is where it gets interesting. It says here, a mix of a bird and a rattlesnake. His name is a combination of Nahuatl word Quetzal, the emerald, because if you read the scriptures, he's emerald, like, golden green. The emerald plum bird, the Quat serpent. Now, again, this is just a thought. I'm not saying it's 100% correct, but listen and observe. Nobody else has this title like Meshicha or Meshiacha or Mexico or Meshi, anointed, and then some character considered a plum serpent. And yet the same character in the scripture said, be as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You guys have to think about that for a moment. Makes you think about this for a moment. Quetzalcoatl was considered the Messiah here. Not God, by the way. Not the Most High. And he was also known as the plum serpent. And when you read the Bible, he tells you, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The plumbed serpent. And again, I'm not saying 100%. These are just spiritual thoughts going through spiritual things, which is why I titled this Lost History. That's why I titled it that way. So we're going to go through some things. And I know now, people, look, listen, there's a lot of people that watch this channel that are my enemies because I went through my subscription family, and a lot of them are 12 tribe believers, man. A lot of them, bro. That's weird. A lot of you subscribe to my channel. You guys really believe in that 12 tribe chart. And that's why you got people like RSK saying, you're going to turn the corner on. No. I will never go back to that demon hood shit. Because guess what? Once you know facts, fiction, or once you know facts, everything else does not matter anymore. Thank you, brother. I hope so. Because it just hit me, bro. I was actually sitting there like talking to my wife about some things, and I grabbed the Bible and I was talking, and I said, hey, you know what, honey? Hey, read this real quick for me. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I go, Quetzalcoatl, they named him plum serpent. And under our understanding, he was like the Messiah, not the God, not the Most High, but, a God of ours, right? So to speak. Plum serpent. Ain't that interesting? She's like, wow, that's a good point. So now, here we go again. Again, I'm not saying this 100%. I don't know, man. I'm just bringing out stuff that I'm discerning, okay? You go ahead and study it and see if it makes sense to you. So now look, this is the old tired-ass history that we heard of all our lives, family. This is what we heard all our lives. Columbus reached the New World, right? This is what we knew. That supposedly Granada fell, Spaniards came, Portuguese were down in Brazil, but the Spaniards came, the white man, and that he came and civilized us, decimated our gente, right? He's the one that supposedly brought all the diseases and shit. And then he brought certain people from Africa and enslaved them later on in 1619. Supposedly that's where the history is. This is all we knew. This is what America's classrooms and even in Mexico basically taught history like that, okay? This is what we know. Columbus sailed, Columbus reached the New World, and then that's it. And then somehow you got people that come here, and even like for example, I watch boxing, right? So I'm watching the Canelo and the Howard, the Bud Crawford, press conference, and you had this dude in there. His name was Ace Yahawa. I should have taken a picture of his name so I could call his ass out. And he starts calling Canelo a Spaniard, a conquistador. You see what I'm saying? He called him an Edomite. Now, how many people have came to this channel and called me one of them? How many people have called you those? And you see, based on this effed up history of Ringolandia, we believed it. We believe that, yeah, they came and we got light skin because we mixed with them. That's what they say. You know what I'm saying? That's what people believe. People like the young kid that, does his little Ricky Ricardo and shit, that's too afraid of, to debate me. I invited him so many times. I said, I'll go to your space. No, he don't want to, fam. They're too in love with certain things and hate so much what is not true. Now, is it true that the white man did come? Yes, it's fucking true. But it wasn't just him, fam. That's the story that they told us. That's the story. The white man came, they civilized us, all of a sudden, then we're not here no more, that we're Mexicans because we're like them now, right? And this is what black folks believe. Everybody now. Asians even shit. They say that shit. So we're going to go through some stuff today that's going to hurt somebody's ass, and I hope it does. Because we are ripping our heritage back from the people that took that shit. And I'm telling you, family, they don't want this. I'm giving you facts right now, fam. I went through my subscribers, and a good portion of y'all listen to me because I'm saying the truth. You can't admit it, but you can't stop listening to me because you're probably hoping that I fall one day or break one day or stop one day, and then you can say, haha, you see, I told you so. This is why there's such a low amount of viewers right now. I'm telling you this right now. It's not by chance, family. It's not by chance. Because they sure as hell enjoy it when you throw it at these people right here, like as if they were the only ones. So now, let's go into some videos and then we'll get into some books. Something interesting is happening, fam. This is a short video. I'm not going to take you that long. It's like repetitive. They just repeat it often and often, right? But I find this so interesting because, again, remember, the scriptures talked about two sticks being separated for quite some time. Now, I've showed you guys, we know that if you believe in the Bible and you believe you're a Hebrew, that we migrated from that region. Which reminds me, by the way, before I go there. Which reminds me, okay? For you people that claim to be Hebrews, right? And you want to take this Bible everywhere else but where it's actually originating from, right? You know what I'm saying? Originating from. I want to bring this up to your attention. You see, Genesis 11 talks about, the lineage of Shem, okay? Now, after Peleg, that was the separation, the split, okay? So after him, Reu, Serug, okay? Then Serug had Nahor. Then Nahor had sons and daughters. And Nahor had Terah. And then Terah, right?
had Abram or Abraham, correct? Right? So let's look at this name here real quick. Tehran. Where exactly is Tehran? If you take away the N, it's Terah, family. You understand what I'm saying? If you take away the N, hold on a second, hold on. If you take away the N at Tehran, it's Terah. You see what I'm saying? Why do you guys keep putting Abraham into becoming some African or a white guy? You're out of your fucking mind. Terah is the father of Abraham. That's in Iran. That's north of the Ur of the Chaldees. So let's recenter ourselves here, fam. This is lost history. And remember, we talked about this, man. If you believe in this book and you believe you're a Hebrew, you know you migrated from that region. And I've showed my DNA. That's just icing on the cake. All praises to the Most High for even letting me have that access like that. And it literally puts my forefathers right there, and it shows that my bloodline has been here for more than 2,000 years. So there's something to this madness, right? Now, if I'm wrong, hey, we're wrong and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? I know all of you guys are incorrect. Because nobody really knows the true 100% truth. Nobody. So now, let's begin, which I find so interesting, and let's go.
Was not just a march for peace. It was a defiant show of solidarity with Iran.
The government and people of Venezuela are friends of ours in times of hardship and happiness.
For Venezuela's leadership, this is more than symbolism. Senior political figures, including National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez and PSUV Secretary General Diosdado Cabello, led the protest. Their message was not just against Israel, it was against what they call the entire Western imperial system backing Tel Aviv.
Iran has shown that the rabid dog stops being cocky when you slap it once. And they've slapped it, as we say here, right in the face, the rabid dog of Israel. That's why we applaud Iran. We support Iran in its right to defend itself.
Days earlier, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro came out to express full support for Iran. He accused Israel, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, of carrying out attacks on its neighboring countries for more than 7 decades. Maduro claimed that while Iran had never attacked another nation, it was Israel that had destroyed homes, hospitals, schools, and maternity wards, not just recently, but repeatedly over 76 years.
You guys hear that, man? 76 years. That's a short video. Like, it's long, but it's repetitive. Hey, what up, brother? Yeah. Okay, again, like I told you before, lost history. If you guys just showed up, I would suggest go back to the beginning because there's some good information at the beginning of time. So now let's look into exactly lost history.
The country with the most mammoths on the entire planet is not Russia or Canada, it's Mexico. While building the new airport, they came across a pre-Hispanic surprise. More than 200 mammoths buried together, a discovery that left the famous sites in Siberia in second place. And the most shocking thing is that many mammoths were married by our Mexican ancestors more than 10,000 years ago. Mexicans facing giant beasts with nothing but spears. This place became the largest mammoth site in the world. And no one says it, but it's time to shout it out. Mexico is the true land of mammoths. We not only have history, we have a prehistoric legacy. The country with the most mammoths on the entire planet is not Russia or Canada, it's Mexico. Like, share, and comment if you feel proud that Mexico is the world's museum.
Damn! You know, that's a good point. It's funny how Christmas Christians, well, I'll call them Christmas Christians. I added that one. always say the law is done away with, but pushing for Christian theocracy, they will set up their Christian law as they see fit. Yeah, it's literally like Psalm 64, tossing over the laws, picking and choosing what benefits them. Just like, every other camp that's out there trying to teach the Bible and shit. They're picking and choosing the scriptures that apply to them. Oh, well, that didn't happen in this time. Like all the curses didn't all occur at once. Or really? Now all of a sudden they don't occur at once? Here, I got a message for y'all. I thought this was a good message. So I do the same. You brothers know that I don't talk about my private life like that. Y'all hear me sometimes. If you ask me questions, I'll answer. But I do move this way. Okay? I learned. Listen to this. This is a good message for you brothers and sisters as you move. And this is the spirit that we're supposed to always carry. This is why the scripture said, as wise as a serpent and as gentle as a dove, move with wisdom, the plumb serpent. Speaking. Let's go.
Land in secret, build your house in secret, then celebrate with friends and family. Seek marriage in silence, plan in silence, then marry in front of a crowd. You see, not everything needs an audience. Jealousy is real. When you move quietly. When you work quietly. When you build quietly. Let them see the results, not the plans, because the loudest moves are the ones made in silence.
You see that? Keep in mind, fam, people come to this channel like, we don't see a lot of you guys believe. You guys don't have camps. Where's your school? I'll play it again so you guys can hear it and see it, maybe. And guess what? For you that if this message doesn't resonate, I'm glad. Because that means that you got another spirit and you don't belong in this channel. But if you want to learn something, stick around. You may actually grow up a little bit.
Buy land in secret, build your house in secret, then celebrate with friends and family. Seek marriage in silence, plan in silence, then marry in front of a crowd. You see, not everything needs an audience. Jealousy is real. When you move quietly. When you work quietly. When you build quietly. Let them see the results, not the plans, because the loudest moves are the ones made in silence.
Yeah, brother, and that's true. I'm glad you used the word sacred, because that word sacred is important. It's important. Sacred. Let's check it out. Sacred meaning. It means connected with God or dedicated to a religious purpose or deserving veneration. Let's see. Regarded with great respect, reverence by a particular religion, meaning just regarded with great respect. Sacred. Our heritage is sacred. The way that we conduct ourselves is sacred. The way that we raise our children is sacred. All of those things are holy and separate. And it was only given to us to understand these things because every other nation tries to mimic what we do and they cannot replicate what we have. These nations love our women. They think they can replicate the same children that we create, and they cannot do it because they end up hating them. You know what I'm saying? Let's go through these videos real quick. Again, I'm telling you, man, people are starting to push back. Nations are starting to push back. The scriptures are very clear as to what's moving. Look, some DEAs were captured in Mexico, okay? And they're already in jail right now. Trump complained about that shit because they're about to get prosecuted, family. Because they were doing I'm telling you, fam, coup d'etat is the one thing that this nation of wicked people do. When you are better than them, they don't like it. They want you to be less than them. For some reason, they have an issue where you just being better than them. I don't understand why. You know, like I know there's people better than me at a lot of other things. I'm good at what I do, right? I'm good at what I do. I understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why these nations want your women, because they wish they can recreate what we can naturally make. They cannot do it. Look at these sneaky bastards.
Los agentes no fue un evento aislado, sino el resultado de meses de inteligencia mexicana. Según fuentes cercanas a la Secretaría de Gobernación, el gobierno había detectado movimientos sospechosos de la DEA en varias entidades, incluyendo Jalisco y Sinaloa, donde se reportaron sobrevuelos de drones no autorizados.
Este dron avistado sobre el estado de Sonora, resultó ser utilizado por la agencia antidroga estadounidense.
Los agentes detenidos en Toluca, además de espiar a funcionarios, recopilaban información sobre líderes sociales y campesinos, lo que levantó sospechas de una posible operación encubierta para desestabilizar al gobierno mexicano.
To disable or what's the word I'm looking for? Destabilize the Mexican government. Listen.
Lo que levantó sospechas de una posible operación encubierta para desestabilizar al gobierno mexicano.
You see that right there, family? Hey, Job, or I'll be revealed which one, or whoever's watching, man. What's that scripture that talks about their skirts will be lifted? Psalms or something? Like they'll be exposed. Like all their lives are being exposed fully to our very moment. No longer can you guys move in this particular secretive way. No longer. And you know what? Let me show you this real quick. I was actually tripping on this video because let me see if I can get it real quick. I think it's on Facebook. Hold on a second. I think it's here. Okay, so check this out. And by the way, this is why you guys don't understand who I am. You don't understand our spirit. You don't have any clue as to who I am and what I'm about. So I appreciate people who appreciate facts and don't fall for bullshit. And I appreciate when you do consider who we are, because guess what? I don't want this shit to happen to anybody. If I was in a better position and certain people were getting really treated that bad like that for real, then I would have some empathy. And you have my respects. But you cannot demand respect when it's a fucking lie. So listen to this. You see, nothing new under the sun, fam. So they were mad. They kicked us out. They blamed us for all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of shit. And now check this out. History repeats itself, by the way. Let me get those scriptures real quick. Hold on a second. Let me get those scriptures real quick. Hold on. Let me get the scriptures real quick. Hold on a second. Boom. Let me see. Got you. Hold on a second. It's Psalms 27. No, I don't think it's Psalms 27, bro. It's either Ezekiel or Psalms. Give me a second. Let me see. Psalms 27:6 says this. It says, "And now shall my hand be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore I will offer his tabernacle sacrifice of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praise unto the Lord." Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Let me see. Ezekiel? I think it's, damn, was I off? Was I that off? I don't think that is in it. Well, I'll read it. Because again, remember, scriptures apply to Israelites and apply to other nations too. Nahum 3:5, "Behold, I am against thee, say the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." Luke 8:17. Let me see what's in there. Luke 8:17 reads, "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be made known." What I would do right there, bro, I would precept that verse with Nahum 3:5, and then precept Nahum 3:5 with that verse, because Nahum 3:5 says, "Behold, I am against thee, say the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." Luke 8:17, "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. This goes also to prophecy, understanding, discernment of these scriptures. That's why I showed you guys and started it. By the way, like in case you guys didn't hear this, there is a scripture that talks about this right here. Behold, Matthew 10:16, behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The reason why I read that to y'all is because I just found it to be very interesting that the Quetzalcoatl, right? That we knew, Iberian, bro. Quetzalcoatl was known as the plum serpent. So, or let's go here, a mix of bird and a rattlesnake or snake. His name is a combination of Nahuatl words, Quetzal, emerald. Right away, if you go to Daniel, you'll understand that there is not God, a Messiah, who has emerald colors, meaning green and gold. Emerald plum bird and Coat serpent. Now, am I saying it's true? I don't know. I was just telling you. I was reading, and this came about. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The plum serpent. I was thinking of it like, why is he a snake with feathers? Well, the scriptures say it. If you know the Bible, you would understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully it's not too confusing for y'all. Sometimes I lose people, and then they think like, bro, you're getting crazy. No, I'm not. Luke 12:2 and says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. Oh, I like that one. Come on, bro. Neither hid that shall not be made known. Now, this is also regarding our sins. If we're trying to hide our sins within ourselves, everyone else will see them. Especially when you're dealing with the Most High, because for the more that is given, more is required. Meaning, the more wisdom He gives you, the more self-searching, self-control is needed. Wisdom deals with your wickedness for some time, and then there's a question like, yo, listen, are you going to keep fucking around with that crazy ass shit, or are you going to trim down your ways? Because the scriptures say, be ye therefore perfect, meaning work to completion. You're not going to get there until that time. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in light. So all your secrets, all your sins, everything that all these nations have done upon our gente, upon themselves, upon their own people, they will have to pay for this shit. The Most High deals with you based on what you do. Because listen, there's one thing of you messing with Israelites, His chosen people, right? And there's another thing of you just being wicked as hell, destroying your own kind. Because scriptures talk about that strangers will be allowed in. Not as rulers, not at all. That's not what it talks about. So that means that if you are treating your people as crap, then you definitely will get the most punishment as well. This goes for everybody, fam. There was a time where there was a time where Noah taught Japheth, Ham, and Shem the scriptures. Everyone had the chance to repent. No one can say, everybody had a chance to repent. Every single one of y'all. Every nation, Ham and Japheth, y'all had a chance to repent. But He knew that you just wouldn't. You're wicked. There's some that are left back for destruction. Edom and Canaan, left for destruction. And those are facts. Those are facts. Edom and Canaan are going to get it really, really hard. And guess who's doing what they're doing today? Edom and Canaan. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. That's why it talks about in 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 77. If you have your path, meaning your history, your legacy, so-called, and it's full of thorns and nettles, and it's like bushes and shit, because you just have not examined yourself and really made changes in your life, guess what? All that shit's going to come to light, and you're going to get burned. You know, those are just facts, fam. Those are facts, man. Let's go.
Saben dónde nos encontramos, saben dónde anda uno trabajando, así que es el riesgo que corre uno. De hecho, ante la escasez de mano de obra, varios empresarios están reclamando al presidente Trump que vuelvan los trabajadores latinos, ya que son empleados muy eficientes y valorados.
Igual, lo único que me gustaría que me dejaran trabajar nada más para ayudar a mi familia, pero si no se puede, ni modo.
¿Tú quieres trabajar realmente?
Yo, claro, tengo un ánimo de trabajar tremendo. Yo trabajo en lo que sea.
A fin de enviar dinero a sus países, los latinos trabajan fines de semana, días libres, días festivos e incluso en sus vacaciones.
Family. Hey, first of all, let me welcome you, bro, Randy Martinez. Welcome to the channel, man. Let me warn you already. Let me give you a warning. And I appreciate you being here, brother, but you got to know what I do here. Because people show up to the channel, they're all happy and shit, and they find out what I'm doing, and they don't like it. So first of all, let me read this. Disclaimer time. This is not a BHI channel. This is not a dumb-ass 12-chart camp. This is not a Hispanic-only channel. Meaning like, only indigenous people are Hebrews. That's not what I'm saying. And this is not a Christmas Christian channel for sure. In this channel, we teach that negros and gringos together came as conquistadors, along with Arab Moors, white, black Moors, fake Jews, black, white, Khazars, Sephardics, Dicks, by the way, and other nations as well work together to destroy our indigenous heritage. So what I do is I'm investigating biblical doctrines and destroying strongholds that are against the truth. Ezekiel 3:8, behold, I had made thy face strong against their face, and thy forehead strong against their forehead. This is why, I'm very hard-headed. So welcome to the channel, bro. Hey, what up, bro? Good to have you, sir. By the way, I didn't realize that I didn't subscribe to your original channel, and I try to look for like where, because the last live you did or that debate, it seems like you were using like a restream or something, right? So like you were doing it live on your channel, but I couldn't find any like new videos in your channel, bro. So if you have a different channel, let me know. Let me know. But good to have you here, bro. Good to have you here, man. And by the way, in case you missed it, I had brought up this example earlier. Let me know what you think. Matthew 12:16, right? It says, behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? So the reason I share that was because I brought this out. It was just, you know what I'm saying? You know how we all read the scriptures, man, and we meditate on that stuff, right? So Quetzalcoatl was known as the Messiah, not the Most High, the Messiah. And he was called plum serpent, right? Now it says a mix of bird and snake or rattlesnake. His name is a combination of Nahuatl words, Quetzal, emerald plum bird, which, if you guys don't know, like they're emerald. The Messiah wore emerald and gold, and Coatl and serpent. You know what I mean? There's just, let me know what you think. I found it to be very interesting. Because you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, bro, like how does that even work? And we got to look into some other important facts, man. We can't just sit here and believe everything that other people tell us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and not only say sometimes, the Most High has given us a discernment. He has given us an understanding. Remember, in the last 100 years, have we been allowed to read? Look it up. Look it up.
There's one other thing.
In 1900, meaning like 1900, okay? In 1900, our gente was probably 5% literate. 5% literate. Oh, he can't post? Hold on a second. Let me see if he can. Hold on. I'll get it from the other side. If you can get it. Oh, I see what you mean. Hey, well, text it to Messenger and I'll post it here because I was looking for your channel, bro. Because I know that when you do debates, I think you run them on your channel and shit, and I want to see them. Let me see. Hold up. Where you at? You here? Yeah. Yeah, I just text you a Messenger. Like if you want, bro, it's all good. But anyways, so check it out, fam. Hey, what up, Meshi? Good to have you here, Meshi. Good to have you here. Oh, is that it? Oh, hold on a second. I don't think that's it, dude. Oh, yo fui a su canal, bro, and I didn't see any like recent lives, so I don't think I have the correct one. Maybe it's a new one. Let me know. Let's go.
That I want to say about the ICE raids that we're seeing, and I want to make a comparison, and that is when I talk with my students about the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850 and how it pushed the nation closer to the brink of civil war because they began snatching people out of communities, people who had lived in communities or people who had escaped slavery, and my students are like, oh, so these people who came out against the Fugitive Slave Act were all abolitionists, and I said no. These were people who could not countenance the idea of their neighbors being taken from them. The idea
that is such a good point.
The fundamental civic unit in this nation is neighbor. And that is the people who live in your community. Are you prepared to see them treated in this way? And people simply were not.
I think the civic response.
I want to show you these particular details because, that's what we thought. Right? Okay. We're just moving forward. You know what I'm saying? We're just moving forward, right? Now listen to this real quick. I showed you guys a video about certain things, right? So this dude here, he posted a video, so I thought it was interesting. And I had seen this video before, right? But this guy, I guess he catches people with their do some shit. Not this guy. This guy right here. So let's listen to this, family.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate over this, and I really don't give a fuck.
Okay. Where are you going with this?
I've been doing construction work pretty much my entire adult life, over 20 years, 21, 22 years now. Right now on this job I'm on, right now, there are about 5 of us white guys out here. There's probably 2 or 3 black guys, and the rest are Latinos. And I say the rest being 100 to 125 guys.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's going a good direction, but you don't judge based on like 1 or 2 seconds. You watch the entire post and then make a determination.
But if you send all these guys back across the border, everybody says, oh, they're going to raise the wages and all the white guys are going to get these jobs. Bullshit. I've watched the Americans completely quit working. People my age and younger don't work. They don't, and especially ain't going to do a physical job. What's going to happen is people like me are going to be sitting at the house because there ain't even enough people to put a crew together to be able to fucking work.
And my man just dropped some reality on some people who need to go ahead and cash them checks. Because the reality is you're going to take a bunch of these people away, and then he's not going to work because there's not enough people to put a crew together for him to have a job to work on. How is the world getting better? Because there are people who are here, however they came here, who are not fully documented or not fully legal, who are working jobs that other people don't want to work, and paying taxes, by the way, taxes into things that they can never access, like Social Security. And when you get rid of them, you just create this vacuum that is not going to be filled with people who look like this. And
black folks, just fucking say it, man. See, white people have a problem with that shit. Neither one of you are going to do the job. Let's continue.
And then that guy won't have a job to work. And buildings won't be built, and houses and so forth and so on. It's kind of like the tariffs thing. Oh, we'll put tariffs, so you have to do manufacturing in America. Okay, that requires infrastructure, that requires a factory to do it, and the machines, and all of the output cost.
Okay, here we go, fam. The reason I share this is because it's important for you to know your value. Okay? It's important to know your value. That you have standards. That you have gente that loves y'all very much. And cries for you whenever we see shit on TV affecting our people. And I pray for the Most High. I always pray for everybody else. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, I don't even really pray for myself, bro. I should do that more often. Like I'm always praying for other people, bro. Always other people. Everybody prays differently, man. Y'all decide how you want to do it, you know? But this is important. Because again, you know, we have different messaging here, and And brother and I had talked about this, like how we need to put out the message out there.
All right, white culture.
From the continuous, hold on a second, from the continuous costumbre, right? The typical old tired ass story, like this.
Real quick. There can't be white culture in this country, period. There's no white culture. And I think that offends white people because we're always talking about black culture and native culture. And then we get mad, we're like, well, we're a culture. No, we're a race. We're a race that took two other cultures, an entire African culture and an entire native culture, and we oppressed one and we tried to eradicate the other. But throughout all of our oppression and our murder and our rape, they never died. Their culture never died. They kept their religious practice. They kept their art, their fashion, their food, their music. No matter what we tried to do to the African culture that we brought here and the native culture that we stole from, they never died. And that drives white people crazy. So now we're desperate to have our own culture because we can't keep stealing from the ones that we've oppressed.
Right? That sounds like, yeah, kill the white man.
All right, white culture real quick.
White man, kill the white man, right? That's typical. Everybody's like, there was a time where we all just agreed to this shit, right? Okay. You hold that thought real quick, fam. Hold that thought.
No, sir, you will not sit here and try to lie and downplay Native Americans owning black slaves. Here's one from the Smithsonian about how Native American slaveholders complicate the Trail of Tears narrative, about how the Trail of Tears, the real story is about how many black slaves passed away. Because everybody who's a native who had slaves, I don't feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the black slaves who had no choice. And even the curator for the Museum for the American Indian is talking about how many of his ancestors and natives owned slaves, like John Ross, who was the Cherokee chief at that time.
John Ross sounds like a pretty indigenous name, huh? Yeah, that's right. Let's continue.
And they even crushed slave rebellions, so they stopped us from getting our freedom. Happened for over a century. You're saying only 20,000? You're full of shit. And did you know natives had sundown town rules, black codes? Oh, you didn't know that? They would even buck break the men and violate the women and force the women to have native children, native and black children, because a lot of them, the native men would force themselves on black women, violate them. And I am a direct descendant of those people.
Okay, Negro, you stay right there. You stay right there. It's funny how they talk about buck breaking and all kinds of shit, right? This is why the message is important, and this is why when I bring shit out, you fucking run all the time. It is very clear that you have no idea who the fuck you guys are. So let's go through this shit, okay? I'm going to show you just pages of books that I have. And what you do is this, fam. Be smart. Take a snapshot of the picture, and then when you have it in your phone, copy, right, and paste the sentence of a page, and hopefully you'll find the book. This is how I do things. I'm showing you guys what I do. This is why I find a lot of shit. When I see something important, I take a picture of it. Try to copy and paste. It may not be in the first link, the second link, or third link, but guess what? I always find it. So let's read this. Moreover, runaway slaves constantly swelled the ranks of freedmen. Free blacks were slave owners. You were what? Free blacks were slave owners for more than 200 years. Right? Okay. Black owners obtained slaves by inheritance through white and black relatives. And by gifts and purchases. Many blacks had been accustomed to slavery in Africa. Many of the slaves in this country had previously been slaves there. True, because we read some of this material, if you follow this channel. Others had been owners of slaves in Africa. It did not, therefore, seem to them unnatural for a Negro in America to hold his brethren in bondage. But hold on a second. Who is he focusing on? See, you people don't want to accept the fact that people that look like you or lighter skinned than you would buck break in your ass. For example, P. Diddy. P. Diddy was most likely a slave owner. And you know how he's basically a slave owner in the music industry, so he would buck break your ass every fucking time. But no, you know what? It seems a lot better to blame other people, right? It always seems better to blame other people. That's it. It did not therefore seem to, it says here, others had been owners of slaves in Africa. It did not therefore seem to them unnatural for Negro in America to hold his brethren in bondage when he had become free and able to buy his fellows. Now, us indigenous never did that to each other. Free blacks became slave owners early in history. Hold on a second. Indeed, one of the first known legal sanctions of slavery, other than as punishment for crime, involved a black owner in 1654. You see this, family? 1654. Anthony Johnson and his wife Mary, in a court suit, gained the services of their black servant, John Casser. Okay? Hold on. John Casser, for life. Actually, slave owning by free Negroes was so common in the period of the Commonwealth as to pass unnoticed and without criticism by those who consciously recorded events of the time. How coincidental is that, huh? So you black folks had slaves and you purposely erased that shit from history, but you constantly recorded so-called white folks as being slavers. John H. Russell in his Free Negroes in Virginia, 1865 wrote, the most remarkable property right possessed by free Negroes was the right to acquire, own, and alienate slaves. Indeed, more than 20 years from the time when a free Negro first appears in the courts, there was no legal restriction upon their rights to own indentured white servants. Here's the conundrum these two nations have. Edom and Canaan, they just can't admit it. First of all, Edom cannot accept the fact and tell people the truth that the Negro had them in slavery. Treated them like biatches. Because it demoralizes their spirit. You know, it knocks down this whole ideology that they were so fucking superior and shit. You guys were not. You guys were eating each other and eating your shit and drinking your piss. To this day, you don't even know how to wipe your ass, okay? Your women tell us all the time that you guys leave shit in your sheets of your bed. Go ask them. They're the ones that are snitching on y'all, not us. Okay? All of a sudden now. But let's continue. Before I just go ramble about something else. There were black... So, I'm sorry, that's right. So the white man says that, right? And here's the thing about the black man. The black man cannot admit this history. Because the moment you Negroes admit this history, your 1619 bullshit goes out the door. Your Willie Lynch letter goes out the fucking door. Your transatlantic slave shit goes out the fucking door. Your 1865 antebellum, all the bullshit, all your shit you cried about, goes out the fucking door. So, you know, we see that the white man don't even want to talk about this shit, but Morenos always want to bring this in secret. It was philanthropy. Shut your ass up. Y'all wicked ass people, man. So you're between a rock and a hard place. And the fact is that my job is to make sure that the whole world knows who the fuck you guys are. Both of y'all. Hey, tell Ricky Ricardo to come on this channel, man. Hey, Ricky, let's see how you feel about this shit, since you love him so much. Let me say this. There were black slavers in Boston as early as 1724. Do you understand what that means? So the video that I showed you guys the other day regarding Freemasonry, Prince Hall Freemasonry of 1776, these Negroes had slaves by then, fam. So where the fuck is their suffering? How the hell do you even fit the curses? How can you sit here and say that certain people enslaved your ass when you were slaving white and Native Indians? Listen, except the dumbass that likes to show up on this channel every now and then, you had your chance, puto. You guys want to defend your history, let me know. Let me know. Let's see what you say about this. There were black slavers in Boston as early as 1724, in Connecticut by 1783, Prince Hall Freemasonry was already established in 1776, fam. Remember that. Prince Hall Freemasonry was black Freemasonry, like black society. And in Alabama by 1797. Among the earliest records in the deeds books of St. Augustine, Florida, is a document recorded in the sale of a black slave to a free black by a free black. By 1790, 48 Maryland black owners possessed 143 slaves. Nat Butler, or you mean Nat Turner, right? That's the whole supposed to be the history. A free black man who lived near Aberdeen and Hartford County owned a small farm and regularly purchased and sold Negroes for the southern slave trade, for the southern trade. You see this? A free black man who lived near Aberdeen in Hartford County owned a small farm and regularly purchased and sold Negroes for the southern trade. Some, listen to this. This is where it gets really fucking interesting here. Some consider black slave owners hard taskmasters and claimed free black owners were as a usual thing much more severe on their slaves than the white owners. Life patterns of some black conquistadors. Let's just go through some names. Juan Garrido. Manumission, various minor posts, house in the site of Mexico. Sebastián Toral. These are Spanish names, family. So when these Morenos want to come to you or tell you you're a Spaniard, they are the fucking Spaniards. They are the very first fucking Spaniards that you ever even met. I'm telling you this right now. Sebastián Toral. Next time you guys talk about, slavery, don't just assume it was a white man. It was both of them. That's why they love that checkerboard. They know what the hell they're doing. Sebastián Toral, Africa, black, slave, Yucatan, manumission, tax exemption. Pedro Folupo, Costa Rica. Juan Bardales, Honduras. Manumission, 50 pesos pension. Antonio Perez, horseman, made captain. Juan Portugues. Juan Garcia, footman, shares of gold and silver in Cajamarca. Share of Cusco. Miguel Ruiz, Spain, free mulatto. Horseman, share of gold and silver at the Cajamarca. Juan Valiente, Peru, treated as free. Horseman, made captain in estate and encomienda. Oh. He was given indigenous people to serve his fucking ass. Y'all gonna keep doing this bullshit? Let's hear it again. Let's hear this bullshit again.
So please, spare me the bullshit. Oh no, sir, you will not sit here and try to lie and downplay Native Americans owning black slaves. Here's one from the Smithsonian about how Native American slaveholders complicate the Trail of Tears narrative, about how the Trail of Tears, the real story is about how many black slaves passed away. Because everybody who's a native who had slaves, I don't feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the black slaves who had no choice. And even the curator for the Museum for the American Indian is talking about how many of his ancestors and natives owned slaves, like John Ross, who's the Cherokee chief at that time. And they even crushed slave rebellions, so they stopped us from getting our freedom. Happened for over a century. You're saying only 20,000? You're full of shit. And did you know natives had sundown town rules, black codes? Oh, you didn't know that? They would even buck break the men and violate the women and force the women to have native children, native and black children, because a lot of them, the native men would force themselves on black women, violate them. And I am a direct descendant of those people.
Their stupidity has to be destroyed. These idiots need to know who the fuck they are since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. This is another page here I got. Woodson thesis. I desire as soon as it may be practical that my executor herein named will sell for money my 4 slaves to the best possible advantage together with all my household furniture. There's a black man right here. Clearly, now it says here, clearly John was partially correct when he said that benevolent Negroes often purchase slaves to make their lot easier by, I don't know, I should have took a picture of it better. Yet the same Negroes also owned slaves who were purchased as laborers and used as investments, even as, I guess, something free trusted servants. Many black masters had no intention of emancipating their other slaves, even when the masters died and could not benefit from them, their investments. So who was denying your fucking freedom? Your own people. It wasn't us. Were African American slaveholders benevolent or exploitative? A quantitative approach. Really? You see how interesting that is, family? You have the fucking nerve to then all of a sudden, when you own slaves, it's philanthropy, benevolence. How come y'all never said that shit about the white man? Let's read this. The ownership of African American slaves by other African Americans was surely one of the most particular features of the particular institution. Yet in the antebellum, prior to 1865, South free black people did indeed own slaves and own enslaved black people. Why that was so has become a matter of dispute. Interesting, right? Most historians have emphasized benevolence as a motivation for slave holding by blacks. How what a coincidence, family. What do you think about that? All of a sudden, because black people had slaves, now they're benevolent. You have nothing to complain about. Reparations, man, go shove that shit somewhere else. And hopefully white folks are watching this channel, because guess what? This is something y'all didn't know, because your elitists are too embarrassed to tell you. They really want you to believe that your manifest destiny was fucking really profit. No, barrel, you guys are the bottom barrel. You're the bottom. Wow. You hear that shit? Somebody's getting mad here. Y'all are really mad, huh? You're so mad that the frequency always blew my ears up. Hold on a second. I got that.
Are you?
Let's continue with, let's see what we have. Moreover, I think this is from Indian slavery in colonial times. Check this out. Massachusetts was the only other colony that assigned double status of personality and real property to its slaves. There, as in Virginia, the status varied from time to time. Under the earliest laws of taxation in that colony, slaves must have been rated, if taxed at all, as poles, the owners paying for them as for other servants and children, such as take not wages. This continued until 1692, when every male slave of 16 years old and upwards was rated at something state. But in 1694, all Negroes, mulattoes, and Indian servants, as well as male and female of 16 years old and upwards, were assigned as a status of personality by being rated at 12D. Per poll, the same other polls in 1695, all Negro, mulattoes, and Indian servants, again, became a property basis for taxation. How come the white man and these Negroes never bring this shit up?
Are you?
How come? Why? Why is this a problem? Why can't you bring facts? This is, I'm going to scan through this book real quick because I showed you guys this many times. This book is Free Negro Owners of Slaves in the United States in 1830. Okay? Here, do this. See that name? Take a picture of it, and then at the end of 1830, put PDF. Okay? That's how you get this page. Because if I put the link up, you won't be able to pull it. All right? And in this book, it's basically talking about all of the people that did not admit that they had slaves, even though they were counted for, because they considered them as an investment. You know what I'm saying? Like an asset. So even though they said they didn't have slaves, but they sure had assets. Y'all had assets. FBA, where you at? Come on, man. One of you FBAs, bro. Come on. Hit the link, bro. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me all this shit that I'm saying is a fucking lie. Tell me that I'm just pushing some white man science and shit. Because here, based on alphabetical order, all the people over here, and when you see the names, these are all Negro colonizers. Negro colonizers of the Americas, okay? So never go around saying white colonizers only. Negro and white colonizers. So these are Negro, African American, claim to be so-called colonizers. You guys had slaves. Look at this. David Monarch, a black man, a black colonizer, a Negro colonizer, a fucking dirty-ass colonizer, right? Had a total of 28 slaves between the ages of 55 and 100 years old. We know that it wasn't just Negros that you had slaves. You had our people in slavery. And Güeros too. That's why they didn't like y'all. That's why when 1865 began to become available, they're like, fuck no, I don't want these guys in slavery no more. You were buck breaking them. P. Diddy style. P. Diddy was a slaver back then. That's why he came back to life again, bro. He wants to remind y'all what you guys are about. You are no different than Edom. You're no different. The nerve of you to be pointing the finger at them. Look at you guys. Look at this. 32 slaves. Look at this shit. I can't even imagine what you were doing to the kids. Considering what we see today. Gabriel Perpal, look at that, a Negro colonizer. In 1830, reported that he had 40 slaves between 55 and 100 years old. All of these are Negros family. So before you go off and assume that it was only the white man that did this shit, no, it was both of them. Both of them. And it's time that the world knows. It's time that all of them know. Before they go and try to convince you with some bullshit theory and some doctrine of devils and shit, trying to tell you that Jesus is a Negro. Was Jesus buck breaking too? Your Negro Jesus, was he buck breaking, motherfuckers? Is that what it is? Look at this right here. Dominic, obvious, 38 slaves between 55 and 100 years old. These are Negro colonizers. I hope that really burns your spirit. I hope it really does. Because it's time that you guys know who the hell these people are. Stop crying, FBA. Stop asking for shit that don't belong to you. You know damn well that you guys had slaves. Look at this. Gene, 57 slaves. And we're going through different states. Look, Southern California, the southern states. This is why I said you guys had slaves since 1492 and fought with the Confederacy in 1865 to keep fucking slaves. And I mean that literally and you know, metaphorically. This is from a book called Judicial Cases, I believe. This is it. Judicial Cases Concerning American Slavery and the Negro. Okay? I am going to bring you to attention of a few pages. Not many. Let me see. Hold on. Sorry. I'm going to go to page 20. Let's see here. Page 20. On the bottom. It says this. Check this out, fam. You need to know your history. February 1786. That ship sailed from London to the coast of Africa, at which place she took a cargo of slaves and proceeded from thence to the islands of Barbados, where she arrived December 17th, 81. That on the 22nd of January 1782, the smallpox broke out amongst the slaves, who were all obliged to be put on the shore. You see this? Who brought smallpox to America? Page 28. Just going to scan through these real quick. The Africa. 2 Act on 1, November 1810. The Africa and an American vessel sailed from the coast of Africa December 16, 1807, with a large cargo of slaves, and captured January 30, 1808. This is from the movie Amistad. This is exactly what that is. This is that movie from Amistad. But remember, listen, this is 1800 now. We're not talking about 1619, 16... No. All of that shit didn't happen then. Did they get traded? Yes, they did. But that did not happen in 1619, family. They were coming in as indentured servants. All of this changed like middle of 1750 and on. That's when you started seeing more towards them of their own gente. But they'll never tell you that. And you know, here, let me go to page 53. Page 53. Oh shit, I went too far. Hold on. Page 53. This is it. Oh, 60. Let me see if I can go to 54. Let me see, 54. Give me a second. Okay, page 53. Come on, bro. What the fuck? Okay, it says here, the servant problem, or rather, the problem of service in the early colonial days defied solutions, but necessity caused 9 or 10 varieties of servitor to be evolved in Virginia, most of them existing in order of colonies also. These varieties arranged approximately in order of social precedence were the white indentured servants, okay? The white servants without indenture, all right? Of whom there were two classes, those who came voluntarily and those who came involuntarily, of which latter class was the men, women, and children who were spirited away, those who left their country for their country's good, and probably the duty boys, right? Then it says, the Christian Negro servants, the Indian servants, mulatto servants, whose servitude was the penalty of having a white mother and an Indian Negro or mulatto father. But remember, it says categorically, right? After all these white people, indentured or not indentured, who's next? The Christian Negro servant. Not slave, servant. Not slave, servant. The term servant was used to designate anyone who renders services or service, the laborers as well as the household servants. Then it says here, most of these varieties existed side by side in Virginia in the 17th century. Now let's continue. Because it's getting really interesting, right? Check this out. The original 20 Negroes brought in 1619, right? We know perhaps the names of 11. One of them a Negro woman owned by John Rolfe, father-in-law. Not Powhatan, but Captain William Pierce, father of his third wife. Was called Angelo, a name uncommon in England and unknown in Africa. Others were Anthony and Isabella, whose master was Captain William Tucker of Elizabeth City. Their child William is not listed in the census of 1623, as he was probably not yet born, but he appears in Captain Tucker's mustard in 1625. It is significant that his baptism is recorded as is that of another William, an Indian owned by Captain Tucker, while no mention is made of the baptism of Anthony and Isabella. So here we see that a Negro woman. But we know that historically speaking, back then, Negros didn't mean Africans. They would usually put Negros. Let's continue. Page 60, I believe. It goes right here. Let's see. Let me see here real quick. Then it says here, the clause, who are incapable of masking satisfaction by addition of the time, is not necessarily the description of all Negroes, but might simply distinguish Negro slaves as they are denominated further down from Negro servants. You see? Who, like English servants, were capable. So you guys were indentured. You guys weren't fucking slaves. Of making satisfaction by addition of time. And it might be argued that the lawmakers, in substituting the word Christian for English, later in the text felt that the latter was too narrow to term. So basically, from this point forward, whenever you read books and he talks about Christians, like you can't enslave Christians, that means you can't enslave white people. That means they were enslaving white people as well. That's something negros don't want to admit. That may be true, but it is likely that the broader term was chosen for the sake of including the Irish and other white servants, regardless of Negro Indian servants who were probably so few in comparison as to be negligible. The Act of 1670, in which the term Christian servants is used as a synonym of white servants, supports this view. You see what I'm saying, family? So negros had white people as slaves. I told you, white folks have a conundrum right now, and so do negros. Y'all both have a conundrum. White people do not want to admit that you guys were fucking enslaved as well. It like hurts your feelings and shit. You guys are a weak nation. The only way you can get ahead is by guns. That's the only way, okay? And the morenos, negros don't want to admit that they helped y'all or that they had you guys in slavery because all their bullshit goes down the drain. The Willie Lynch letter is a fucking lie, family. But hey, you know, they even pitch it in BHI cams. They made movies about that shit. We're seeing here that everything that we've learned in this country is bullshit. Hold on a second.
Fuck that puto. Fuck that puto.
It says, let me see, imported. Okay, let's see. In another act of 1790, in regulating the status of all servants not being Christians, who shall henceforth be imported, divide them into two classes: those imported into this colony by shipping, who shall be slaves for their lives, and what shall come by land, who shall serve, if boys or girls, until 30 years of age, if men or women 12 years and no longer. Damn, you guys were enslaved. Dude, black and white folks were enslaving kids. White and black colonizers, you guys were enslaving kids. Just like today, Epstein and P. Diddy, bro.
That's gonna hurt.
Hold on, let me do it again.
That's gonna hurt.
This act favored the Indians, who usually came by land, and fixed the status of slaves on the non-Christian African, who usually was imported into this colony by shipping. But the African coming by sea might still keep his status of servant for years if he had become a Christian before landing. Such an one must have been the Spanish mulatto by name Antonio, sold by John Endicott in Boston of 1678 to Richard Medlicott to serve. But for 10 years, that's not slavery. That means you signed up to a contract. That's it. The lies, man. From the day that he shall disembark in Virginia, and that expiration of the said 10 years, the SD mulatto Anthony to be free man to go wherever he pleaseth. 4 years later, no such restriction of length of service could have been made in the case of imported Negroes, Moors, mulattoes, or Indians, who and whose parents and native countries were not Christian at the time of the purchase of such servants by the Christians, meaning white folks. Now, here's where it gets interesting. These Negroes are Moors too, but these Moors are Muslims mixed, like Spaniards and shit that are like not born in Africa no more. They're Africans born in Spain. That's who these people are, and we already know what these guys are. Like the Kansas City quarterback. That's what they are right there. Or what's his name? The gorilla dude, the one that likes to get pegged. Or the other guy from ISUPK, Captain Taserface. You know, they look black, but they have white skin. That's them right there. Their daddies are white. I know they think they're black, but I think their people are white. Who and whose parents and native country were not Christians at the time. Interesting, huh? Check this out. This act of 1682 became notable in the late 18th and 19th century, in as much as the courts of that time deemed it the earliest act which legalized Indian slavery. Since 1492, and you guys are still passing laws in 1682 to favor black and white folks, right? Colonizers, Negro colonizers, and white colonizers to enslave our indigenous people. One of Bacon's laws, meaning Bacon, you know, the relative of Francis Bacon, you know, the guy that fucking wrote and completely edited the King James Bible, which the BHIs love, which Kabbalah and the Talmudic practitioners which Kabbalah and these Freemasons love to practice. This is where they get it from. One of Bacon's laws, however, dated June 5, 1676, provided that all Indians taken in war be held and accounted slaves during life. It didn't say negros, did it? And though it was repealed in February 1677 after his fall, the restored government ordered that all such soldiers who either already have taken or hereafter shall taken prisoners. Hereafter shall take prisoners of any of our Indian enemies, and at the time of taking were or shall hereafter be under a lawful command. Retain and keep all such Indian slaves to their own proper use. How come y'all didn't know this? How come they didn't tell you guys this? Why is this difficult to know? See, for a long time, we've been told that this didn't happen to you. The poor we, me, not you, right? And yet we see here. We see here the lie. And it doesn't stop. Because you guys are still doing stupid ass videos claiming something that you're not. Enslavement by the Spaniards, which they were black colonizers and white colonizers, Spaniards. Don't forget that shit. In their attitude towards the Indians, the Spaniards simply applied the theory of their time regarding slavery. You see that? Africans, right? The taking of slaves was then considered part of any expedition of discovery or conquest. The higher authority of the church sanctioned the institution of slavery to the extent that leading theologians had declared all barbarous and infidel nations who shut their ears to the truth of Christianity fair objects as raping, captivity, and slavery. You see, rape. That's P. Diddy. Stop. P. Diddy. I'm writing a Florida. He declared it to be. In writing a Florida, he declared it has belief that the Indian can never be made submissive and become Christians. So he advocated that they all be taken, placed on ships. Oh shit! And scattered throughout the various islands, and even on the Spanish Main, where they might be sold as His Majesty sells his vessels to the grandees in Spain. So before you dumbass Canaanites want to come and tell us some shit, use Deuteronomy 28:64, Ark. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto another. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which we didn't know. Both of y'all knew Christianity. Both of you guys were celebrating Christmas. Both of you guys were pushing Jesus with the Virgin Mary. Black and white images of Jesus with a Virgin Mary. The fucking Trinity concept. Both of you guys were teaching that shit, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. You guys knew each other for centuries. You guys focus on the scattered part, claim that we weren't scattered, but yet I'm bringing material that we were very scattered. Very, very fucking scattered. Let me see if I can find another page. Let's go to the next one. I think we're doing good time right here. Now, for all you guys that want to claim that supposedly, the white man came and he made us light and shit, and, Wobbles want to go into copper color. Copper color, right? Copper color. Shut up. Yeah, stupid. Go fucking hug a tree. This is Samuel Morton, Crania Americana. Okay? Crania Americana. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. I think it's page 69, something like that. Yeah, perfect. Page 68. So let's read this real quick. So let's clear this air. Because you can see that we're not light-skinned only because we mix with the white man, okay? We were light-skinned and we were all kinds of colors, fam. And this copper color terminology that these morenos want to use on TikTok and shit, and you guys are dumb. Seriously, you need to eat some other type of you need another diet because whatever you're going on in your head, it's not working. A copper-colored skin has been assumed by most writers as characteristic distinctions of the Americans, who have hence been called the copper-colored race. The investigation of Dr. McCullough satisfactorily proved that this designation is wholly inapplicable to the Americans as a race, and that it is more characteristic of some other and very remote nation. Oh shit! Meaning you Africans. You Morenos, you Wabos, all of you motherfuckers that claim that, we were copper colored. No, you were copper colored. Yeah, you're right. But in fucking Africa. The error was obviously arisen from the habitual use, listen, among many tribes of red paint to a brown skin, which occasions a copper hue, meaning that we would use things to darken our skin tone. We were always in the sun. Humble declares that the denomination of the copper-colored man could never have originated in the equinoctial regions to designate the Americans, us indigenous. And I can further testify that among the individuals of many different tribes that have come under my observation, he was there. He was here, by the way. I have never seen a copper-colored man. We consider, therefore, says Dr. McCullough, that the color of the American Indians in general is brown. True. Differing in intensity with various tribes. True. We're light brown, we're dark brown, we're really light brown. We're like some of us, like my kid has got white skin and shit. Not white, but he's very light skinned, according to the various localities, but that it is almost impossible to say that the brown color principally resembles. He says the cinnamon is, in my apprehension, the nearest approach to it, though still too inaccurate for general comparison. By the way, Judah is a lion, right? And who has the color of the lion's mane? We do. Brown, light brown, cinnamon, reddish. You know what I'm saying? The nearest approach to it is still too inaccurate to general comparison. I fully coincide in the opinion with Dr. McCullough and believe with him that no epithet derivable from the color of skin so correctly designates the indigenous collectively as that of the brown race. Although the Americans thus possess a pervading and characteristic complexion, meaning like it's very common among us, there are occasional and very remarkable deviations, including all the tints from a decided white. Hey, Meshiacha, don't be stupid, bro. This is where we get the intervention from. Stop being dumb. Thinking everybody was dark. So basically, you assume that you used to be black too. That's what I think now. Including all the tints from a decided white to an unequivocally black skin. This fact may be sufficiently illustrated by the following examples. You see this? So before you go and try to claim the fame of something that don't belong to you, you got to ask yourself. Who are you? Let's listen to this real quick.
¿Qué es lo que hacen? Aparte de que ponen un montón de camastros, inclusive cerca, es muy común poner letreros de propiedad privada.
Trabajadores denunciaron que los estadounidenses llegan con actitud de caciques y tratan a los mexicanos como sirvientes. En Baja California, un grupo de jubilados fue grabado exigiendo servicio en inglés en un restaurante, desatando los abucheos de los comensales.
Simplemente no quería pelear porque no sabía si llevaba una arma o si iba a hacer algo más.
Can you even speak English? Okay.
Mientras que en Yucatán, músicos mexicanos fueron expulsados por un grupo de extranjeros que se alojaban a pocos metros de allí.
¿Qué es lo que hace?
This is a warning to you, crackety cracks. A warning to you, crackety cracks. A lot of us are going back home, in case you didn't know that. I'm already planning. We're already planning family. More likely we'll be out of here within less than 6 months, God willing, maybe 8. Something to that effect. And there's going to be a lot of us that are going to be down there now. Let's see what you got to say now, fuck faces. Let's see what you got to say now when we get down there. Because this is the time to, I don't know, man. A lot of weird shit's happening now. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. Hold on.
Aparte de que ponen un montón de camastros, inclusive cerca, es muy común ponen letreros de propiedad privada.
Trabajadores de...
You guys remember this lady? Well, I'm trying not to laugh. This is her now.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
You guys remember this lady? Well, I'm trying not to laugh. This is her now.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer,
The sound of fucking making fun of y'all. Proud Boys leader. Who is he?
The bigger issue here isn't DOJ or the Biden DOJ does anything. I think the justice system is broken. I met a lot of people that weren't J6ers. I'm glad that the J6 thing brought out the plight of American justice, because I met a lot of good people that made mistakes and they have decades in jail for nonviolent drug charges.
So, well, Morenos want to say he's Afro-Cuban. And then they want to slap him as he's Latino. No, he's a black dude. He's a fucking African, okay? That's what he is. And now that you have a history of why they are the way they are today, like Charles White, whatever his name, Charleston White, he's all pushing that fucking Confederate shit, you know what I'm saying? This is why they act like that. They're always projecting, family. Projecting. It's part of the game. Projecting. It's part of your game. I got this last video to show y'all. Real quick here. To remind you guys, like how deep this rabbit hole is. And I thank you brothers that have been watching this channel for a while now. Because if it wasn't for you, and none of y'all believed what I was saying, I probably would have stopped this channel. You know what I mean? I would have. But thank the Most High that He gave me the spirit to continue. Let's listen to this, and then we're done. All right, fam? Let's go.
To provide an education to adults of color. He petitioned the state legislature to grant to all citizens of color the right to own real property and to vote in all elections. He also served as a special deputy to the English Grand Lodge and was armed with the charge to travel throughout the colonies to determine the number of subordinate Caucasian lodges still operating as such in the New World. The question of extending Masonry arose when Absalom Jones of Philadelphia appeared in Boston in 1791. He was an ordained Episcopal priest and a Freemason who was interested in establishing a Masonic lodge in Philadelphia. Black men from Providence, Rhode Island also traveled to Boston to inquire about Masonry. At a subsequent assembly in 1791, the African Grand Lodge was formed by delegations from Philadelphia, Providence, and New York. Prince Hull served as its first Grand Master and remained in this capacity until his death. African Lodge in Philadelphia and Hiram Lodge in Providence came under the aegis of this Grand Lodge in 1797. Prince Hull died December 4th, 1807. A broken column monument marks his gravesite in Copp's Hill Cemetery in Boston. At a General Assembly of the Craft in 1808, the name African Grand Lodge was changed to Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Masons of Massachusetts. The Deputy Grand Master, Brother Nero Prince, became Prince Hall's successor as Grand Master, followed by George Middleton, then Peter Lew, and then the well-known John T. Hilton, who recommended a Declaration of Independence from the English Grand Lodge in 1827 and the assumption of powers and prerogatives as an independent Grand Lodge. During this most significant period of Masonic growth, Masonry spread throughout the colonies. Many lodges and Grand Lodges were formed under the authority of the Prince Hall Grand Lodge. Today, there are over 1 million Prince Hall 1 million Prince Hall Freemasons in approximately 50,000 lodges in 44 jurisdictions throughout the United States. It takes 3 more lodges to form a Grand Lodge. Hannibal Lodge number 1 of San Francisco, Philomathian Lodge number 2 of Sacramento, and Victoria Lodge number 3 of San Francisco are the 3 lodges that formed the Grand Lodge, free, ancient, and accepted Masons, organized in San Francisco, California, on Tuesday, June 18, 1855. Hence, the 9th Grand Lodge was formed. The fraternity now holds the distinguished title of Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Masons of the state of California, Incorporated. Since its colonial birth, the organization has attracted to its ranks professional men in business, government, religion, and community service, civic-minded men of good will and character who continue to provide the needed services for the betterment of mankind, thereby leaving a legacy by which Prince Hall Freemasons are best known. To be one, ask one.
Be one, ask one.
¡Que alguien me explique! Who are you?
And you know, and we were listening to the videos the other day about how they knew they were involved in this. They knew. It's not a surprise, family. This ain't no quink-a-dink. A few more things and then that's it. Check this out.
Okay, they don't need it. They can back it wrong. Why do you think they feel unsafe at home? Let's be honest.
Because of Africans. They are afraid to say something.
So his argument is that African migration to Italy has had an impact increasing the rate in Italy, for example, or in Germany, or in France, or in UK. But I mean, no. Here it seems. It's like this message is resonating with a lot of the public.
And you have to remember that this is a very liberal city.
Sure. Are you a big fan of it?
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell me about the live bullets, the fact you can now kill illegal immigrants trying to enter the border.
I love it.
There you have it, family. There you have it. The spirit of Esau and Canaan. You should not be surprised anymore about who we're dealing with. But listen, I did promise to do a class on Deuteronomy 4. My apologies, brother, because, you know, I had told you I would. Just for everybody, but I will be doing it next week, okay? The other day I couldn't do it because I had lost sleep, blah, 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 all right? So anyways, you guys have a good weekend. See you guys, at least chop it up with you throughout the week. Lord willing, we can do a class next Friday, all right? If you guys have any questions, any suggestions, or any topics, let me know, man. That's what I'm here for. Have a good night. All right? You guys take care of yourselves. Love you, man.
Estamos aquí. Oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá. Esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina. Pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura, somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica, Gambino mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos no voy palpando, cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti.
Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena a mi tu. A mi lado tengo soldados fumando de su palulu. Y un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio, se matan vestidos de emporio. Y yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar.
Arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen bien, es más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
Chicanos killing Chicanos is what they want. Blacks and Chicanos killing each other is what they want. That's how they run this place. Once we get together, they don't run shit. Got a lot to learn about being Chicano.
Yeah, Alcatraz, midget loco. Yeah. They never seen this coming, man. What up, Loon? What up, Oreo? 500 years of captivity. What else? Now they trying to tell us how we supposed to be, how we supposed to act, how we supposed to rap. I'm brown, but my flow too black. Come on, y'all kidding me, right? Nike Air Flights fitted cock back fresh. Representando mexicanos on the mat. No estoy jugando, got bars like I battle on smack. But hold on, I'ma bring it right back. My people indigenous. I'm not sure if you getting this. By the time I'm done, you gon' be feeling this. I come from the people they call Meshiacha. I've been to the motherland, Chichen Itza. Seen the Mayan ruins, intellectual architects. Been in the cenote, seen ancient artifacts. Really? Cali is Mexico, those are the facts. They raped women, gave elders heart attacks. It was a battle, our people were outgunned. Took life and cattle, we were outdone. However, 2 wars proudly we take to the grave. Those we call our Independence Day. It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
It's a story with Mexicans, Mexicano. Gave birth to the word that we know as Chicanos. Aztec warrior, man, it's all in my blood. From the Nochtitlan, that's the heart of the love. Now I'm Mexico City, that's a modern day name. Don't let the books confuse it to be a modern day slave. Gotta get your facts right and study the culture. Don't be like Cortez, he came like a vulture. Came to just steal and take away the land. He seen what we got and he was like, damn, who would've guessed it had to be a white man? Damn again, now we got stolen lands. They say go back to where the fuck you from. Man, this is my land, that's what you stole from us. I'm not Hispanic or Latino, I'm a Mexican. Man, fuck La Milicia, you can have that bitch.
It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo, Quieren pensar, sin ni siquiera estar al mando. Tanta publicidad subliminal te está matando. Les cuesta decidir por sí mismos cuál es su mando. Publican sonrisas con el corazón llorando. Quieren brillar, pero sin tener que valerse de tener sus ideas propias. Los veo a todos igual, solo son la réplica de la imitación de una triste copia. Obedece, la vida es un suspiro y envejeces. Te dejas distraer por estupideces y pierdes el eje. Te duele por dentro, entonces te creces, pero aceptas mucho mucho menos de lo que mereces. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Conserva tu juicio y tu intuición, más activos que el que lucha por lo suyo y no se rinde. Yo ya sé bien cuál es mi misión, y es contarte que el mal por su propio pie pronto se extingue. No caigas bajo su control, pues por la televisión es normal que mal lo pinten. Tú mantente firme en conexión con la fuente de creación, vivirás siempre de fin de. Dios abre los ojos, dime lo que ves. A tus propios hijos matándose por billetes. Niños por cada 2 por 3. Pa' unos es bendición, con otros por su causa pequen. Y yo que intento ser un ser crístico, voy bendiciendo hasta los diablos. Piensan que es cierto el mensaje típico. Dicen que invento lo del engaño, y mientras lucho contra mis errores, demonios escucho, me ofrecen soluciones. Pero sé que hay un ángel que quiere que mejore. Me dice haz un trabajo interno antes de que lo ignores, antes que otra vez llores y se llenen los mares de pena y de dolores, ya que en mi mente no caben. La paz no va en un sobre, somos algo importante. Nunca te revelaste y por eso no lo sabes. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido, no. Todos repiten lo que dice el referente. Discursos vacíos lejos de ser coherentes. De lo que no sabes será mejor que no inventes. Que investigues y no te dejes lavar la mente. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que decís, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo,
¿Vale? ¿Sí? ¿Te atreverías?
Ahí está. ¡Bemba! ¡Es original! ¡Kimba! Ella va a bailar. ¿Quieres de mí? Origini. Todo para ti. ¡Hey, baby! Original y originini. Yo no tengo un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimba lo reventó con el fucking altavoz. Si vengo por el liga, estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Es el Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto ritmo parece en la boca nada. No soy un dragón, pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón, pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del magneto, siempre ves buscando un ritmo. Es original, siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco con lazos de parece popescu. ¡Ey! Original, el maneta ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno, pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo, no lo ves, escondí hace tiempo. Original representa hace radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, gano. De Easy, haceme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Pónmelo del principio, va.
¿El principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Esto está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio entonces. Ahí va, atención.
Estamos en Nazi Radio International Real. Hey, hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Neo Nefi de Europa. Bombo Clan, dice. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dan mi luz. Hey, sing it, badu. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dan mi luz. Everything come through. Ooh, girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking old nigga. Hey, girl, think you better. I sing along, my brother. Everybody come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo. Suena perfecto, filo becar. Suena perfecto, viene el del ritmo del ghetto. Band the fuck international. Hey, nego, the fama, no really nobody. Si mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal. Suena bien guapo que vienen los ritmos. En radio siempre suena fenomenal. Mueve cadera, mueve tremenda. Ese Kima Neto, el rey de la fiesta. Suena guapo, te lo digo, sacaría. Así que dale, on the freak, nego.
Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's a real love, man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para favor, no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo, sangre, si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, con almas cristalinas. Familia, Rastafarian familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
هوا ديالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هاللي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري هوا ديالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هاللي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري Tuve un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte pude hacer algo para calmar en mi dolor y es por eso que le pongo flow vibrando alto siempre Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir
Familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, con almas cristalinas. Familia, Rastafarian familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super escalón, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like sin estalón. Esos tics van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada, cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Burruco Connection, Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie feria du Paris, día yo. Los magnetes han llegado, están aquí, píalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas. Es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida. Yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, Fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia. It's original, man. Familia, familia. Fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia. Yo soy un rocket, ellos a brillar. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el feto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el feto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final.
Disparo a millas sin mirar y sin mirar, sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manas de la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar, piltrafillas, tres donos nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura, si se apura, quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a las partículas, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo. Niño, prepara la compota que la pera pata. Pero vinimos a mejorarla. Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad. Saben que no puedo cagarla. Y poner ritmo y los manos les tocan cuatro patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina para probarla? Tola que en el party donde sacata. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma. Vivimos huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's a real love, man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para favor, no. Tú podrás por miedo a traicionar a tu familia, matar tu bro, sangre y aplausos pillas, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy son familia, ya no maniga. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los míos, Magna Gate, alive, fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los manas y saqueto, alive, fire them. I could stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and the smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang in the street, fire burn if you know it. Rastaman over the Illuminati play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and the smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang in the street, fire burn if you know it. Key Cray is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody, no kill them. In a crazy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody, no kill them. It's a Christy style. Tally, the fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familia, Rasta chai is familia. Key Cray is familia. Pure nego is familia. Sico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia, es el que está a la mínima. Familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, Rasta Giant familia. Magna Boy que te aplasta, nego.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú, tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.